What happens when you DNA Digivolve Robin from Honkai Star Rail and Bennett from Genshin Impact? You get Astra Yao, the one and only superstar of New Era dude. Our first limited S-rank support is making her debut, bringing out team-wide bonus damage, crit damage, over 1,000 attack, a new dual DPS team combo system, and she's the only healer in the game. Let's just say you really want what she's offering. Oh, and I forgot to mention the best part. Did you know she gives all of that for just pressing one single button? In today's video, we'll cover everything about Astra Yao, from her most effective builds to get you rolling the fastest, which type of current and the future teams she excels in the most, and a brief breakdown of how to turn her modern mode one button action into a more advanced playstyle. Version 1.5 is starting this year out strong. Let's break down why Astra holds some insane value on your account. Before we kick things off, I need to make it incredibly clear that no other support functions the way Astra does physically. Because of that, the kit overview will be a mixed chapter, due to the fact that how to play her is literally press one button and she leaves the field. There are some other moves in her kit like everyone else, but most, if not all, of her utility is revolved around her being in the the cadenza state. I'm just gonna call it the cadenza state. It's from this special form of hers that Astra boosts herself and the incoming character's damage upwards of 1,200 attack. The how portion of that now stems into which character is using the precise assist. I'll explain what that means in a little bit. Within the cadenza state, she's not just a sitting duck though, thankfully. And that's because when she's in this state, she puts herself into the Twilight Zone and brings a decent amount of periodic off-field damage. This is massive, as she's now the only other agent in the game that can trigger an anomaly pop without being active on the field besides Bernice. So her damage being off-field relatively consistent, and a decent amount of it absolutely opens an interesting door on building Astra with damage in mind. If you're just picking up the agent, you might ask yourself how this off-field damage happens and what you can do to make it consistent. That's a super easy answer. You see these star icons up here beneath her name? These are called chords, and for every 25 energy Astra has, she'll have one chord. But since she's not the active agent, where is she getting energy from? What's a chord used for, and who's the one using them? The first question about her energy is answered by just literally attacking. Her core upgrade stat is energy regen, naturally giving her a higher ERR than others, and with those random ether bombs she drops on top of enemies' heads, she is constantly gaining energy for her chords to be used. Next up is the chord itself. When Astra has chords, a quick assist can be triggered by hitting the enemy once per 3 seconds, or smashing their face in with a heavy attack every second. Yes, this game has heavy and basic attack differentiations. Lastly is the use of the chord. Thanks to her additional passive, every time you take advantage of her quick assist, she'll release a tremolo attack. You can think of this as her EX special, and if you trigger precise assist, then she'll unload 3 giant clusters onto the enemy for even more damage. Also, think of the precise assist that I mentioned earlier as an enhanced quick assist. Instead of the normal yellow flash that you see down here, it'll flash Super Saiyan Blue. For comparison's sake, without Astra's cadenza buff, we're doing about 27,723 damage from Nicole's quick assist. But with Astra's buff, utilizing the quick assist, we're now getting 34,837 damage. The TLDR, we will never have max chords. On top of this, after using her ultimate, not only will she heal our HP from the bad mistakes we made, but she also turns the next 2 quick assists into chain attacks. While most players like to mash the trigger in the heat of the moment, I implore you to pay attention to this because it offers more high damaging combos if you do. For example, if we're using a standard team of Ellen, Lycan, and Astra, we should pay attention to which chain attack gives us the most value in that moment. Lycan's chain attack could help us instantly stun the enemy while still building Ice Anomaly to freeze faster, giving Ellen immediate access to her high damage window with the potential ult ready to unleash. On the other hand, Ellen's chain attack dishes an absurd amount of damage while building the most of her Ice Anomaly in one attack. Banging out 2 of these back to back could be the difference between a 4 times freezing stun combo or bust. Would it be appropriate for me to say bussin'? The next few chapters we're going to breeze through since there's really not a lot to say. With the right gear, Astra Yao brings 20% bonus damage, 25% crit damage, up to 1,200 plus attack, 24% bonus damage again, another stack of bonus damage or mega attack, and about 3,000 heals. Ooh, oh my gosh, boys. Now that's a lot of damage. You honestly shouldn't stress too hard on her loadout. 4-piece Astra Voice is the way to go, bringing an extra 24% bonus damage through the natural use of her kit, and a 2-piece swing jazz for the extra energy is best, but hormone attack could work out if you aren't hitting that 3200-ish attack stat. You need a little under 3500 to max her passive out for those aiming to do that. You also don't need to waste resources on leveling her talents either. You max the skill, you max the core passive, and it's okay to leave the ultimate no lower than level 8. Her W engines don't need much thought either. Elegant Vanity is her best in slot and should be absolutely picked up if you have the means to do so. The damage difference between the engines isn't huge, but the kicker is in the utility that Vanity provides. 30% attack, 20% bonus damage, and a constant flat energy regen with the potential to run a sub-crit build on Astra, all by naturally using her kit. Now, if you're free to play, then your choices range from Kaboom the Cannon, Bashful Demon, and the Volt. Kaboom gives you high energy regen and a combat attack percent buff to the team, but now you need to work harder to hit your 3200 attack. The Volt is basically the same scenario, except now you need to play on a 2-second damage window to keep its buff uptime permanent, and Bashful Demon gives Astra the attack percent she wants, but gives the least valuable combat stats, with one of them being irrelevant. It also holds a slow build up because you need to trigger quick assist from the use of chords 4 times in order to get the maximum buffs. That buff only lasts 12 seconds per stat, meaning you need to get all 4 buffs in 9 seconds so that you can refresh the first buff on the 12th second. The answer to all of this is whichever one of these you have at R5, use it, or spend money for S1. You guys know the drill on Mindscapes. You don't need these. However, coming from Honkai Star Rail, where any character that dons an all-type res pin is automatically goated, Astra's E1 is kinda broken, and I'm using kinda loosely. Almost to the point I would argue her E1 is significantly more valuable than her W engine. This Mindscape gives 18% all-type res pin permanently because she always attacks 3 times in a single instance anyway. It then jumpstarts her with 1000 decibels for an early ultimate, and it gives each member of the team a single instance of full damage and vulnerability for 60 seconds. What the f? Nobody in the game needed this. This is the real E1 versus S1 everyone should be arguing about, not Miyabi. This changes every resisted matchup in the game to the literal Arthur meme. That sign won't stop me because I can't read it anyway. And see, I was gonna stop at M1 because all of her Mindscapes are kind of busted, but honestly, M4 is so stupid that I have to include it. Even if you don't have a chord to trigger her quick assist, M4 will just give it to you, and it reduces the cooldown to trigger it again. On top of everything else she gives from the past Mindscapes, she now gives dedicated hyper buffs to each specific class. Attack types gain an extra 300% damage quick assist just dumped onto their head. Anomalies just magically get a 50% build up on every quick assist they do now. And stunners gain a 50% days increase just because. I have never asked you guys to fund any wild pools of mine, but if there was ever a moment, then this is the one. Somebody give me an M4 Astra Yao and I'll suck your With all the important stuff out of the way, it's time we talk about the fact that she plays well on any team in the game, theoretically. What I mean by that is she is one of, if not the perfect support for now. She provides so much to a team, such insane value for little to no effort at all. Any DPS character works with her, but here's the thing. Every DPS doesn't play nice with each other. Astra is a character that is piloting the dual DPS era, and she's doing it fast. Characters like Miyabi and Ellen, who would otherwise never work together on a team, are straight up decimating in-game zones thanks to Astra once you get their combos down. Characters who haven't seen the light of day since launch, like Nekomata, can finally feel a little bit more up to snuff thanks to the benefits Astra provides by increasing their damage output and making them easier to play. For that reason alone, there isn't really a best team that I can offer you since Astra puts everyone on the map. Instead, what I'll do is break down the 2 team archetypes he excels in while giving some variety details in between. First up is a dual DPS or mixed attacker comp. These teams consist of both DPS types, taking advantage of the fact that Astra buffs them both substantially while still providing them their own unique value. I found myself being more comfortable using this type of comp against in-game modes with 2 or more bosses. Miyabi, Ellen, Astra was a team that I gravitated towards the most because I love Ellen. You can personally replace her with any other attack type DPS like Zhiyuan or Soldier 11, but there are some important factors to keep in mind. Astra being here, as well as Miyabi's Ice Fire needing to be removed in between combos, means we'll need to change our attack unit's gear to have an easier time building Anomaly. Don't worry, Astra makes up for it while still giving even more to use. In this case, my Ellen is rocking an Anomaly Disc 6. This team operates with the goal of stunning the enemy by freezing them, otherwise making them immobile as often as possible. In order to fully maximize this team, we need to time Ellen's freezes in between Miyabi's Ice Fire, while still taking advantage of the quick assist for Astra. Now that tad bit is even harder to do for an M0 Ellen, due to her just not having enough attacks to build Anomaly fast enough in between Miyabi. I found M2 being the best solution to do this, but that's just me. If I didn't care about clearing something in less than a minute, I would rock out with M0 and call it a day. Curiosity also got the best of me, and I did test this mixed attack comp with other agents like Zhu Yuan and Soldier 11. It works, some better than others, but right now, its biggest drawback is DPS units not playing nice with one another, so that everyone's additional passive gets activated. I expect this to change in the near future, maybe. After that is another dual DPS comp, but you don't mix attack types. Miyabi plus one other strong Anomaly unit topped off by Astra. For simplicity's sake, this is double Anomaly to the 9th power, and this team comp is arguably the new best in the game. It conquers almost everything. Miyabi, Yanagi, and Astra was the team that I had the most consistent results with, but Miyabi and Bernice was where I had the most fun. I honestly just like seeing cool colors and blowing stuff up. Both teams are brain dead easy though. Miyabi is Miyabi. There's nothing too crazy about her build, but you do want to pay attention to energy and stacks for both girls. There are times where Yanagi won't have energy to complete the rotation, meaning it's a better decision for us to switch tech to keep Yanagi on field instead of using Astra's quick assist. This is because Yanagi's polarity is the key to if Miyabi can abuse her judgment cut or not, and how often she can do it. It's more important to realize when one EX skill from Yanagi is enough versus spamming it and wasting the potential stacks, energy, or damage by accident. Also, if you want more team damage, then I'd run the 4-piece swing jazz build specific to Yanagi that I spoke about in her guide. You can watch it up here from the eye bubble in the top right corner if you're curious. Then while Miyabi is very straightforward, we still want to keep in mind the fact that Yanagi's quick assist might be more beneficial in most scenarios since it skips her basic attack combos and lets her build more energy immediately. This same concept is applied for using Bernice, Jane, or even Piper. The team has some of the most absurd flow of damage I've seen in any action-based gacha game, but it comes with a lot of mistakes available if the player isn't aware of what button they're pressing and when. Now I have seen some talk about Miyabi plus double support being the strongest in the game, and while that is true on paper, I've only seen this result for one team. Miyabi, Nicole, and Astra is that exact team, and that's due to the fact that Nicole and Astra are building up the Ether Anomaly in order to clear Miyabi's Ice Fire on rotation. There's a lot of pros to this team, but that's just it. It's only this team. If you try this double support with Miyabi for anyone but these two, then the team starts to fall apart outside of the one instance of screenshot damage we can make. Now, by no means is it the worst thing in the world, but if you can't clear Ice Fire fast and consistently for Miyabi to keep up with current in-game, your results will drastically differ in this comp. The last archetype that I want to bring up is Hyper Carry. This team comp consists of a much more standard build, focusing on 1 DPS, 1 stun, and 1 support. In my experience, this type of team was best for single target bosses that you could lock down, but struggled greatly against anything else. Some teams just spent way too much time clearing mobs or chasing down bosses due to the lack of CC, while any team with Qing Yi was immediately better because she handles CC well enough to clear them in one shot. For this comp, I put more focus into Soldier 11, Lighter, and Astra so that I could mentally prepare some ideas for Evelyn when she gets here. And to be honest, there wasn't much that I could discover with Hypercarry that wasn't already here. Soldier 11 has some great switch tech options through the use of her EX skill, which could open the door for a constant flurry of perfect fire suppressions. That's because after a quick assist, Soldier 11 skips the first basic attack, which allows you to always dish out 80% extra damage from her attacks if you know the timing. Lighter is next, and he's Lighter. He's honestly just here for the typical reason. Fast stun, helps build Anomaly, lowers the enemy's fire res, boosts soldiers' fire damage, and extends the stun duration window by a forced 3 seconds. In relation to any other hypercarry team, it's basically the same formula. Whatever support you were using before, just replace them with Astra and figure out the best way you like to play them. And with that, we're wrapping it up. Astra is an absurdly dangerous character that gives players their own version of modern mode from Street Fighter 6. If you wanted the easiest way to slap a ridiculous amount of damage on the board for little to no effort, Astra is your girl. Will this be the best thing for the game, given Hoyo's track record of introducing damn near broken support units before jacking up the game's difficulty curve? Only time time will tell. Or whatever they say about singing birds trapped in a cage, Astra Yao sings an astronomical tune of 5 out of 5.